Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Maggie, Tsai. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi volunteers help clean a domestic violence shelter to provide residents a better environment. Doctors advise avoiding irritating foods and talking too much to protect your vocal cords. TIMA doctors treat bedridden seniors in Sanzhi and gives them moral support. Tzu Chi North Toronto Liaison Office in Canada visits a local domestic violence shelter regularly to help sort and organize donated goods. Every 3 months, Tzu Chi volunteers also prepare 50 care packages for the domestic violence survivors at the shelter. Recently, 14 volunteers have helped and cleaned an environment for residents moving out of the shelter. Tzu Chi North Toronto Liaison Office prepares 50 care packages every 3 months to a local domestic violence shelter to provide assistance to the survivors. However, this time, Tzu Chi volunteers also brought cleaning supplies because they had received an emergency mission to help clean a domestic violence survivor's apartment in Markham City. This was due to the sudden cancellation of the original cleaning company.
She said, certainly we can come here on Tuesday. So on very short notice, you changed locations and brought your cleaning supplies and are busy cleaning our apartments, which is amazing because that means that women and their children can leave the shelter and come and stay here.
Most women at the shelter need at least 3 to 6 months to cope with their new life after escaping from their abusers with their children. Their apartments are safe houses that are available for them on a rotation basis. Therefore, every time a family moves out, it will be thoroughly cleaned again to welcome the new domestic violence survivors. After the massive earthquake in Mexico, local volunteers have implemented many actions across Morelos. Not only are they going directly into schools to teach students and staff about environmental protection, but they physically go into the community to pick up all the trash scattered on the streets. The team of local volunteers grew from the initial involvement we had with the Tzu Chi Foundation. It is now turned into a well-organized grassroots movement. We are going into schools to both demonstrate and educate the children about environmental protection. This is very important because we need to care for our planet. Good afternoon. My name is Yvonne Garcia, and I am the volunteer coordinator for the Tzu Chi Foundation here in Hohutawa. We want to make the world a better place, and we need every single person to help out. Can you all help us out?
Can you tell us what compost is? It's like the dirt. Compost can be used as soil for planting. When we create compost, we can return back to nature what we have taken from her in the first place. For me, it's much easier working with kids because they pay more attention to what you have to say. They genuinely want to learn. Many of them are curious and will raise their hands to ask questions. This is a good thing. It means that they are interested and wanting to learn more about the topic. After learning new information, they are always eager to start doing it. So they will bring all this newly learned knowledge back home and actually start doing it themselves.
My house was totally destroyed. The Tzu Chi Foundation came to our aid. Now I am one of the volunteers giving back. We're here doing community work by cleaning up the streets. There are many people that litter, and so garbage is everywhere on the streets. Today we are collecting both the litter and sorting out recyclable goods that we find. We hope these efforts will help to reduce the pollution.
There are many tourists around this area. They like to go to the spas on the weekends, and many times people will just throw trash from their cars. They like to keep a bag of trash in their cars and just throw it out when they drive by here. I've seen all types of items being thrown out.
All of this trash that we created and then throw out is exactly what's making all the rivers flood.
This is an urgent matter, and that is why I am out here today out of my own conviction. I can still contribute a little bit to my own community.
You can encourage everyone to recycle in their own homes and do litter less. Everyone should join us in caring for the environment and do better understanding what our actions do, both negative and positively to the planet as a whole.
The foundation gave me the momentum and motivation that I had been needing for a long time. They have restored my faith in humanity, and I, once again, believe people want the best for others. I believe the good in people, that it's not all about being either envious or selfish.
I think the experience of being a volunteer really humbles you and it makes you more compassionate toward others. You learn about the ideas of dignity, where mutual respect is key.
For me, the most difficult thing as a volunteer is learning how to trust others. It has been a long time since I could really trust somebody in any circumstance. I'm learning and I'm improving day by day. The day that I can trust people 100% without any doubts will be the day I say, "Thank you very much, Master." I'm looking forward to that day because it would mean that I'm freed of a great burden.
While the religious holiday of Eid al-Fitr has ended, this did not stop Tzu Chi volunteers in Indonesia from caring for their Muslim care recipients. Volunteers recently went to a village which is 80 kilometers away from Medan, going door to door to visit each household.
Giving each other a warm welcome, the friendship between them has been developed for many years.
I felt very happy and moved because I saw so many volunteers coming here to care for us.
The care recipients welcomed Tzu Chi volunteers with halal food, treating them like old friends. Tzu Chi formed a good affinity with the community after they provided medical subsidies for Uman's wife to treat her fibroids. After she recovered, Uman invited neighbors to give back to society.
We recognize Tzu Chi's ideas and principles, and we have also participated in some activities related to environmental protection. We want to join volunteers to help, so we started inviting villagers to do recycling. We hope it helps keep the environment clean and reduces bacteria.
We come very often to visit them and encourage them by saying some positive words. We also give the care recipients and villagers a chance to learn more about Tzu Chi. We also invite them to continue practicing environmental protection.
Who said that they can only miss each other at certain festivals. As long as they have a heartfelt friendship with one another, they can gather together at any time.
Have you ever had the experience of losing your voice? There are many reasons for it, but the most common issues are vocal cord inflammation, nodules, or polyps. Doctors recommend eating less food that are irritating to the vocal cords. Also use more nasal resonance when speaking and try not to fatigue the vocal cords too much.
我爱拍保龄球。
Hello， 你好，我叫 Kelly。不要问我从哪里来。
Everyone has their own unique voice. The structure of the vocal cord is complicated. When we breathe, it relaxes the vocal cords, so it lets the air in and out. When we speak or sing, the vocal band will tighten. When there are interactions with airflow, it will create vibrations. This will make the organ resonate and create a variety of sounds.
右边开掌，加快5、1圈半6，左右左1。
Dancer instructor teacher Guo is a very dedicated dancer. She counts the beats out loud for her students over and over again. Every week, she uses her voice consecutively in sessions for over 5 to 6 hours at a time. It's been 10 years like this.
没有声音就是会一直清喉咙。
When my voice is going, I would just keep on clearing my throat. My throat would feel a little bit tightened. My voice would be a lot more deepened in sound.
Vocal cord disorders are divided into several types. The most serious one is a malignant tumor. Others are more common, like vocal cord nodules, polyps, overusage, and acute or chronic vocal corditis. There are many occupations that use their voice a lot on a regular basis. Their vocal cords can become damaged over time, making their voice hoarse in sound.
这个喉片就是类似像
This type of cough drop is the herbal kind, the ones that give a cooling sensation and is mostly sugar-free.
Many people like to eat cough drops, but doctors warn it's only a temporary fix.
The cooling effect is mainly due to the immense amounts of mint essential oils within. It's a type of aromatic hydrocarbons, which will quickly take the moisture away from the vocal cords. It might feel good in a moment, but after a while, it will feel drier.
No matter what type of cough drops, if used over the recommended dosage, it might damage our taste buds.
Taking too many may even cause damage to our taste bud cells at the base of the tongue. There have been many cases where individuals lost their sense of taste temporarily, where foods no longer taste like anything. So try not taking the maximum dosage of 5 to 6 cough drops a day.
Many people like to use the traditional herbal syrup to soothe their throats.
It's mostly aimed at people who suffer from minor colds or have an irritated throat. It's mostly given to the elderly and children.
Commercially sold herbal syrup tastes very sweet. That's why diabetic patients should consume it in moderate amounts due to issues with blood sugar control. The best method to protect your vocal cords is to drink warm water and stay away from spicy foods. One should breathe from your diaphragm and speak with more nasal resonance.
One hand touches our throats, the other touches our nose. If there is a nasal resonance, you will notice that the nasal cavity will vibrate slightly.
There are many reasons why sounds change. If unusual symptoms persist for a long time, it's best to seek medical attention right away. This is the best way to not delay any treatment while it's still savable.
TIMA conducts regular free clinics for Sanzhi in New Taipei City. In addition to the free clinics, medical personnel are divided into 6 teams to conduct medical home visits. The TIMA teams have cultivated strong bonds with the elderly patients over time, especially the ones whom are bedridden.
Ensuring that the free clinic will be carried out smoothly, the pre-production work requires careful planning. In conjunction with the TIMA team and volunteers, 155 people went to the remote Sanzhi area and spread out in teams for 6 different routes. The 90-year-old grandmother lost her husband and was having a difficult time coping with her loneliness. The volunteers left notes for the family to keep a close eye on her. The seniors who are sick and bedridden need to be accompanied and cared for.
She is lying in bed for 24 hours a day without anyone visiting her. Of course, she is going to feel isolated and depressed. The days are long when you are all by yourself, so suicidal thoughts creep in as a solution to ease the pain once and for all. We were talking with her earlier, engaging with her, and she was smiling ear to ear. All it took was some sincere love and care.
Grandma Tzu saw the TIMA team coming and dressed up especially for the occasion. At the age of 97, she never expected that the doctor coming to treat her could be older than her.
I'm 26 years old, and I never expected that the medical journey for a doctor could be this long. It's an incredible thing to witness. He is my role model.
The route to Ximen is a regular trip for the TIMA team. There is a strong bond with all the elderly patients, which has been cultivated over the past 5 to 6 years.
Typhoon Maria has skirted the north coast of Taiwan and caused heavy rain and powerful wind. Before the typhoon arrives, Tzu Chi volunteers from Taipei and Keelung went to Gonglao to check on care recipients living near coastal and mountainous areas to bring them sufficient supplies to survive the storm. As Typhoon Maria approaches Taiwan, wind and waves are getting stronger at Gonglao Coast. In the rain, Tzu Chi volunteers do door-to-door visit for care recipients to make sure they prepare for the upcoming storm.
嗰度師傅吼，上年驚風胎啦，甲你準備有麵吼，有飯啦。
The 93-year-old grandma Jiang Shenlan lives with her son in a stone house for over 60 years. She is deeply touched by volunteers' kind visit before the typhoon arrives.
We're like old friends since we came to visit her regularly for the free clinic. Whenever we are in the area, we always come to care for her.
After saying goodbye to the elderly woman, volunteers continue to drive up to Taoling Historic Trail. The drive was risky because the mountain road was narrow and full of twists and turns. Volunteers have been caring for this family for 18 consecutive years. After their mother passed away 3 years ago, a mentally challenged brother and sister live with their dad in the old house. Volunteers have taught the brother to write and speak good words.
舍体力，舍金钱，助人离苦得乐，再穷能力再微小，也能布施别人。乐人付出就是有福。
进步好多，进步好多。有找到工作，他也会偷偷的跟我讲，像刚刚他就很。
He told me cheerfully that he has found a part-time job, which is 5 days a week. He said he has been reading 金氏 aphorisms, so even if someone bullies him, he won't fight back.
也不会去反而骂他，因为我有在看近似语。
Volunteers cut their hair during this monthly visit and also give some helpful reminders to stay safe during this typhoon. The textile industry is one of the world's largest sources of pollution. A team of scientists at the City University of Hong Kong used biorefining technology to make yarn into biodegradable clothing. This will be able to reduce excessive food waste and discarded textiles over time. In collaboration with the TITRI, the development of microbial dyes has been successfully produced, hopefully to replace chemical dyes in the future.
Food waste and textiles are the two major waste crises in the world. Some scientists are trying to find the best of both worlds.
We take the kitchen waste, ferment it, then put it in a type of lactic acid. This is one of the ways we produce fiber.
There's an innovative laboratory in the Hong Kong Science Park, located at the City University of Hong Kong School of Energy and Environment, where researchers work with nearby restaurants to collect food waste and expired sodas.
We take all the nutritional ingredients out, like sugar or some egg sources. Through this process of extraction, it will provide us the raw materials for fermentation.
This research is to figure out a way to transform kitchen waste into yarn and then make it into clothing. This way the clothes can be biodegradable, which should in turn reduce the amount of excess food waste and discarded textiles over time. It sounds a bit unbelievable. However, the research team at the City University of Hong Kong has successfully achieved this goal with biorefining technology. They use the kitchen waste, the lactic acid produced after fermentation, and those are synthesized into polylactic acid, which can be further spun into yarn. The finished garment can be completely decomposed into water and carbon dioxide.
这个聚乙酸它会跟别的，就是别的那种我们叫 monomer， 就是塑料炸在一起。
The polylactic acid will be mixed with other agents, then it will be spun with other silk or clothing materials. At the moment, if we want to mass produce, I think the biggest concern is the cost.
Realistically speaking, they have already calculated that using 1 kilogram of food waste can only be converted into 155 grams of polylactic acid. If the cost of production is considered, it will take 5 to 8 years in order to balance out the objectives set out for waste management.
If our PLA is not pure enough, when we start doing the melt spinning process, the silk that is spun out is generally very different than the products on the market.
Although this is the main reason for the current inability to mass produce this type of garments, it has been shown that scientists have proposed new ideas for solving the waste crisis. The melt spinning process is still in active collaborations with the Taiwan Industrial Technology Research Institute. The Institute of Fiber and Textile Chemicals of the Industrial Technology Research Institute is a team made up of biochemical and chemical experts. In addition to the project with the City University of Hong Kong, a project related to textile dyes is also underway. One can clearly see that the water in the test tube is slowly changing from light blue to a dark blue color. This is the microbial dye that has been developed by the team.
If you look at the current situation in Taiwan, chemical dyes are actually not poisonous in itself. It's in the process of production that toxins can be released by special intermediate reactions. Right now, there is no way to continue producing chemical dyes in Taiwan due to the long list of environmental regulations that needs to be met.
In the textile process, dyeing and finishing is the most polluting and water-consuming part. Therefore, ITRI started 2 years ago to modify strains of E. coli by genetically altering the bacteria to forcefully enter color-producing genes. This way, it will produce color and then be used as a natural dyeing agent to combat pollution issues.
If we use microorganisms from the first stage to the fermentation metabolism stage, we do it all by ourselves in the laboratory. We have all the control over the entire process, so we can confidently say that the quality is very stable.
Like this one, this is a gene that produces specifically red dye. When you paint it on here, you can clearly see that the whole surface is filled with mostly red dye producing bacteria.
At the moment, they have successfully engineered black, red, and blue strains. The black, red, and blue colors can also be blended with each other to produce 10 additional colors.
Plant-based dyes in red, blue, and black are actually quite difficult in the production process with some innate restrictions. That is why if we want to make up the gap in biomass degradation, we hope we can use microbial methods to develop new and different processes.
Although plant-based dyeing is often seen in the workshops, it is also non-toxic and considered to be a low pollutant. However, in industrial processes, plant dyeing, because of insufficient amount of coloring properties, the quality is difficult to control. Therefore, it cannot meet the standard of commercial mass production.
No matter what kind of plants you are planting, it will take months before you can see the results. However, when we use microorganisms, from the very beginning stages to the final fermentation metabolism stage, it only takes a few days.
This is exactly the reason where microbial dyes excel. However, there are way too many types of fabric that are commercially available at the moment, and not every type of cloth can be used with the dyes. At the present, only wool, silk, and some nylon materials can be dyed through the microbial methods. The textile industry is one of the world's largest source of pollution. Scientists are working hard to develop new technologies to come up with a solution. There are many challenges to overcome. However, it's already apparent that the international textile industry is moving towards a more green and sustainable development.
Tzu Chi volunteers held a painting class for 12 seniors at a community center in Taoyuan Zhongxin Borough, hoping to encourage them to live actively and stay cheerfully. We'll leave you with these images and thank you for joining us. Goodbye.